Roman Reigns Royal Rumble win hated, Brock Lesnar buried, Paul Heyman accuses Seth Rollins. News. Are you kidding me right now? Roman Reigns just won his 4th Royal Rumble, and WWE is acting like this is some kind of historic, groundbreaking achievement that we should all be celebrating. 4 Royal Rumbles. Let that sink in. Stone Cold Steve Austin won 3 and is considered the greatest Rumble performer of all time. Hulk Hogan won 2. Shawn Michaels won 2. John Cena won 2. But Roman Reigns? 4. And you know what the worst part is? Nobody, and I mean nobody, outside of WWE's corporate offices and Roman's family wanted this to happen. The crowd booed him out of the building. Social media is on fire with hatred. Wrestling critics are calling this the worst booking decision in Royal Rumble history, and yet WWE is doubling down, telling us we're wrong for not loving their golden boy. But that's not even the most infuriating thing that happened. While Roman was celebrating his undeserved victory, Brock Lesnar, one of the most legitimate, dominant forces in WWE history, was being systematically buried in the match, eliminated like he was a jobber who didn't matter. And now Paul Heyman has come out and publicly accused Seth Rollins of orchestrating the whole thing, claiming there's a conspiracy to destroy the Heyman guys and elevate Triple H's chosen favorites. The backstage politics are exploding, and what we're witnessing is the complete collapse of any pretense that WWE cares about what fans actually want. I'm about to break down exactly why this Royal Rumble win is a slap in the face to every wrestling fan who's been paying attention, why Brock Lesnar deserved better than the disrespectful treatment he received, and why Paul Heyman's accusations against Seth Rollins might actually be true. And if you're one of those people who thinks I'm overreacting, who thinks Roman deserves this because he's put in the work, then stay until the end of this video because I'm going to systematically destroy every single argument defending this disaster. Before we dive in, I need to know where you stand. Did Roman Reigns deserve to win the Royal Rumble, or is this the worst booking decision WWE has made in years? Drop your honest opinion in the comments right now, because this is about to get controversial. Let's start with the Roman Reigns Royal Rumble victory, because this is where the entire wrestling world collectively lost its mind. Roman entered at number 28, already a massive advantage because he only had to deal with a few entrants and a tired field. He came in, immediately started dominating, and then proceeded to eliminate 5 people in a row, including legitimate contenders who had been in the match for over 40 minutes and deserved the win far more than he did. The final 4 came down to Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and LA Knight. Now, any of those other 3 winning would have made sense from a storytelling perspective. Cody Rhodes finishing his story and getting another shot at the title he never won. Drew McIntyre finally getting the WrestleMania moment he was robbed of during the pandemic era. LA Knight riding the wave of organic fan support to the main event of WrestleMania. But no, WWE went with Roman. Again, the finish was designed to make Roman look like an unstoppable god. He eliminated LA Knight with a Superman punch. He eliminated Drew McIntyre with a spear. And then, in the final sequence, he and Cody Rhodes battled on the apron, the exact same spot where their WrestleMania story reached its climax last year, and Roman threw Cody over the top rope to win his 4th Royal Rumble. The live crowd booed. Not the kind of boos you give a heel to show that you're invested in the story. These were legitimate "we hate this decision" boos. The kind of boos that Roman used to get back in 2015 when WWE was forcing him down our throats against our will. The kind of boos that are supposed to tell management you've made a mistake. But WWE doesn't care. They never have when it comes to Roman. Here's a question for the people who were watching live: did you boo when Roman won, or were you one of the few people actually cheering? I want to see the ratio in the comments. Now let's talk about why this is such a terrible decision, because it goes deeper than just fans don't like Roman Reigns. This is about fundamental storytelling principles that WWE is choosing to ignore. Roman has already main event 9 WrestleManias. 9. He's already had multiple championship reigns spanning over 1,000 days combined. He's already beaten every single top star in the company, some of them multiple times. What story is there left to tell with Roman Reigns at this point? The argument WWE keeps making is that Roman is the biggest star and draws the most money, so he deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania every single year. But here's the problem with that logic: you can't build new stars if you never give them the WrestleMania main event spot. You can't create the next Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns never moves out of the way. WWE is so obsessed with short-term profits and guaranteed draws that they are sacrificing the long-term health of the company. Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble would have given us a redemption story. A man who left WWE, became the biggest star in independent wrestling, returned home, and fought his way back to the top. Drew McIntyre winning would have given us the feel-good moment of a workhorse finally getting his just reward. LA Knight winning would have proven that WWE listens to the fans and will push people who get organically over. But Roman winning? That gives us nothing we haven't seen before. It's the same story we've been watching for a decade, and we're all exhausted. But here's where it gets even more frustrating. After Roman won, he cut a promo basically saying, "I told you I was the greatest of all time, and now I've proven it by winning more Royal Rumbles than anyone in history." He's positioned himself as the ultimate babyface hero, except the crowd is booing him. WWE is trying to have it both ways. They want Roman to be the face of the company and be booked like an unstoppable villain, and it doesn't work. You can't be both. You have to pick a lane. The real kicker? Roman is now set to main event WrestleMania 42 against the current champion in a match that nobody is excited about because we've seen this match before, multiple times, at multiple WrestleManias. There is zero intrigue, zero suspense, and zero reason to believe this match will be any different from the previous times they've wrestled. Now let's shift gears and talk about what happened to Brock Lesnar, because this is where I go from frustrated to angry. Brock Lesnar entered the Royal Rumble at number 12. For those who don't know, Brock is a legitimate former UFC heavyweight champion, a box office draw, and one of the most protected performers in WWE history. When Brock Lesnar is in a match, he's supposed to be a threat. He's supposed to be the guy that everyone fears. So what did WWE do with him in the Royal Rumble? They had him get eliminated by a comedy spot involving 3 mid-carders working together, and then he was dumped over the top rope without any drama or fanfare. He was in the match for less than 15 minutes and was made to look completely ineffective. This is Brock Lesnar we're talking about. The same guy who ended The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. The same guy who's beaten John Cena, Roman Reigns, and almost every top star in WWE. And he was eliminated like he was a random NXT call-up with no credibility. Quick question, do you think Brock Lesnar deserved better treatment in the Royal Rumble, or was his elimination fitting? Drop your thoughts below. This wasn't just bad booking, this was a deliberate burial. And we know it was deliberate because of what Paul Heyman said immediately after the show. For those who haven't seen it yet, Paul Heyman gave an interview where he absolutely went off on WWE's creative decisions and specifically called out Seth Rollins as the mastermind behind Brock's burial. According to Heyman, Seth Rollins, who's now in a prominent backstage role as a producer and has Triple H's ear, has been systematically working to diminish the Paul Heyman guys, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Centimeter Punk, in order to elevate his own allies and friends. Heyman claims that Seth has never forgiven Brock for their real-life heat from years ago, and now that Seth has power, is using it to exact revenge. Heyman went on to say that the Royal Rumble was supposed to come down to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the final 2, creating a massive WrestleMania main event between the 2 biggest stars of the past decade. But Seth Rollins allegedly lobbied Triple H to change the finish, arguing that the Brock vs. Roman story had been done to death and that they needed fresh matchups. The problem is, Seth's definition of fresh apparently means burying Brock and having Roman win the Rumble for the 4th time to face a champion that nobody's invested in seeing him fight. Now, are Paul Heyman's accusations true? We don't know for certain. Backstage politics in WWE are notoriously difficult to verify, and everyone has their own agenda when they speak publicly. But here's what we do know. Seth Rollins has been vocal in the past about his belief that part-timers like Brock Lesnar shouldn't be given prominent spots over full-time wrestlers. We also know that Seth and Brock have legitimate heat dating back to their match where Brock was working stiff and Seth publicly complained about it. So is it possible that Seth used his backstage influence to bury Brock at the Royal Rumble? Absolutely. Is it likely? Based on everything we know about WWE's political landscape and Seth's position within the company, I'd say yes. Here's a tough question. Do you believe Paul Heyman's accusations against Seth Rollins, or do you think Heyman is just stirring up drama for storyline purposes? Give me your honest take. The bigger issue here is what this says about WWE's locker room and creative structure. If Paul Heyman's accusations are even partially true, it means that WWE's creative decisions aren't being made based on what's best for business or what fans want. They are being made based on backstage politics, personal grudges, and who has the most influence with Triple H. This is exactly the kind of toxic environment that led to so many problems during the Vince McMahon era. People with power pushing their friends and burying their enemies regardless of talent or fan support. And if Triple H is allowing this to happen under his watch, then he's no better than Vince was. Let's also address the elephant in the room. Roman Reigns is Paul Heyman's guy, yet Heyman is complaining about backstage politics that benefited Roman. That seems contradictory, right? Not necessarily. Heyman's point is that while Roman won the Rumble, the manner in which he won, without a final confrontation with Brock, without the drama of the two Heyman guys facing off, was designed to diminish both of them in the long run. By having Roman win in a relatively unspectacular fashion against opponents nobody cared about seeing him beat, WWE ensured that his fourth Rumble victory feels hollow and unsatisfying. And Heyman might have a point. Despite winning the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns is getting more negative press and fan backlash right now than at any point in the past 3 years. The win didn't elevate him, it made people resent him even more. Meanwhile, Brock Lesnar looks weak and ineffective, which damages his drawing power for any potential return matches. If Seth Rollins really did orchestrate this, he managed to hurt two of WWE's biggest stars in one night. One final question before we wrap up. If you were in charge of WWE Creative, what would you have done differently at the Royal Rumble? Who should have won, and what should have happened with Brock? Let me know your fantasy booking. Here's the bottom line: Roman Reigns winning his fourth Royal Rumble is a tone-deaf decision that ignores what fans want and damages the long-term storytelling potential of WWE. Brock Lesnar being buried in the match is disrespectful to one of the greatest draws in company history, and if Paul Heyman's accusations about Seth Rollins are true, it exposes a rotten core of backstage politics that Triple H is either enabling or too weak to stop. WWE had an opportunity to create a WrestleMania season that felt fresh, exciting, and unpredictable. Instead, they've given us the same old Roman Reigns push, buried one of their biggest stars to satisfy personal grudges, and sparked a backstage war that's going to overshadow the actual wrestling for months to come. Congratulations, WWE. You've somehow made your second biggest show of the year feel like a disappointment before WrestleMania season has even really started. This is Wrestling Zone 1, and we're not afraid to call out terrible booking when we see it. If you agree, share this video. If you disagree, I'll see you in the comments. Let's talk about it.